Hello and welcome to Morning Coffee with Maddog Merv. I've got the old weenie dog cup back out again and enjoying some good French roast. Let's see what we got going on the channel today, shall we?
Welcome to Morning Coffee.
Maddog Merv today.
Got our French roast this morning again. I wonder I'm a big fat guy. I mean,
And then
holy
they
cow.
I always had a schmear. A schmear.
He's probably going for bagels. He's trying to steal.
Oh my gosh, I can't even believe it.
I have no clue.
And I got a bunch of chores to do. Oh, who wants to do that?
Oh, so for today's shout out, it's again, I've mentioned him before many times, but I have to give credit where credit is due. And to keep this channel going, it is a lot of work. I spend a lot of time on it, and any time I can get any kind of help, it's really appreciated. So my shout out today goes to a friend of mine named Mark, and I never knew Mark before we started this channel, but he's become a very good friend and a huge supporter of the channel. He's the gentleman that goes to the thrift stores and finds some really cool things for me, and there's some more that that'll be coming up that he's recently found. We're close to the same age. He has history in some of the East Side schools, like I do. So we are able to talk a little bit about some of the local schools and different things like that. It's just nice to have somebody local here that I can talk to about those things. So today's shout out goes to my friend Mark, and I really appreciate all that you do for this channel. I hope you folks liked the piece that I did on that USS Hornet that I bought, it seems like eons ago. It was when I was working for Great Models as an assistant manager, so that goes back to 2000, 2001. And I started building it shortly after. It's one of those projects that winds up getting on the shelf, and every 3 or 4 years or longer, I'll pick it up, do a little more work to it. With the new office downstairs, I've really wanted to try and have some things there that, get them out of the elements, so to speak, because out here, storing them out here in the open isn't good. They get all dusty and dirty and beat up. So when I was looking at things to put in the office, I came across those couple of ships that were here, and I thought, I have definitely got to get these out of the elements. Unfortunately, the Lexington was further along than the Hornet. It took a tumble from about 5 feet. It's a good thing. It's a good thing I built it with Tamiya glue, because only a couple of things came off, but a bunch of little pieces got broken. So I've got some work to do there to get it back together. But my Hornet, I had always kept it in like 4 separate sub-assemblies, so that someday I could do the photo etch on it, that whole someday thing. And I've just gotten to a point in my life where I'm not going to do the someday thing anymore. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it now. Or, maybe I'll get around to it, maybe not, but I'm not putting a project on hold just to wait for the photo etch anymore. So I went ahead. Most of the photo etch was done on it. I just had a little bit, as you saw, to add and get the thing assembled and back together. It looks pretty good. Maybe someday I'll rig it. Maybe not. For now, I think it looks fine as a display model. I am going to pick up some more B25s to go on the deck, but I will probably do the pre-painted ones, because I have been working on these 350th scale aircraft. This is a Devastator that I've got a crap ton of for all of my 4 carriers in that scale. And I got a bunch of these things. Unfortunately, they take so much time. And the pre-built and painted ones, all you got to do is throw decals on them. So I've decided to make my life easier that way. But we're going to put some B25s on the Hornet for now. I'm going to try and get that Saratoga out of the Lexington put back together here real soon. We'll probably do a show on that one. Now, last week we didn't do a kit hoarder stash. It's funny, the coloring's really weird. That is so good, though. Oh, man, that's good. I love that French roast. Anyway, we didn't do a kit hoarder stash last week because, like I said, we're going to cut those back to probably to a month. We'll see how things go. Because we've pretty much gone through my stash. Most of the things now are new things that I wind up picking up. And, of course, I'm trying to cut back on all the new stuff I get because I've already got a ton of stuff. So, anyway, this week we are going to look at one of those thrift store treasures. And it's a Continental. I think it's a 65 Continental AMT that's been re-released. So we're going to take a look at that this week. And that will be on Thanksgiving. So when you get up in the morning, have your coffee before you get started on cooking and all that other fun stuff and helping everybody get things ready for Thanksgiving, check out the Kit Hoarder Stash. Main show tomorrow. I think I'm finally going to go ahead and put out this piece. It'll be fairly short on what we call Mormon crickets. That's not their official name. Around here it sure is. But these are a locust, a cricket, if you will, that is huge. It's huge. 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 And it's not from China. No. It's local here. And it has quite an interesting story. So we'll go over that little story real quick about them. And we'll show you the encounter I had with some a couple months ago. People in different parts of the world have different bugs that they have to deal with. I've been back to the Virginia and Maryland area and seen some of the palmetto bugs, which are just American cockroaches that are about this big. Been to Seattle and seen American cockroaches this big, you know. I know that other parts of the world have some other real interesting and scary, like Australia has some real scary spiders. Oh, I just couldn't. Anyway, we have these Mormon crickets. So that's what tomorrow's show will be. Just kind of check it out and see. And then we'll get back to we're working on ships. So we'll get back to that in another week. So the main reason for doing the crickets this week is, well, I've been needing to do it for a while, but I wanted another week to get some more progress done on my USS Missouri. It's funny how I've been kind of wanting to work on it. I've got these other projects I'm working on as well, and I just started down a rabbit hole with it that I just can't climb out of right now. So we're making some progress on this build of the Missouri, and it's not going to be anything overly detailed. Yes, there's some wonderful builds out there that people have done of these warships. And that's great. Most of those guys, I'll be honest with you, are hardcore ship builders. And there's not building a ship in a weekend type of thing. Those will take months and years sometimes. I remember building my USS Utah from scratch. That took 1 year, start to finish, to get that thing done. And I would work on it at least 25 hours a week, at least. So it had a lot of time invested into it, as do all of these ships. I just don't have that kind of attention span anymore. I couldn't spend a year on one project if I had to save my life. So I'm usually good for 2-3 weeks, maybe a month, maybe. So at that point, I usually run out of steam and move on to a different project. And I have so many different projects right now I'd love to do that are kind of knocking down my door. So I try to get as far as I can on the project before I finally put it on the shelf and come back to it. You know, like the Hornet, 20 years later, yay, it's finally pretty much done. Pretty much. Yeah, 20 years. Anyway, I have been working quite a bit on these, the air groups for the 2 carriers that I've currently got downstairs. Been doing a little bit of work on my Alabama, a little bit of work on the Washington. These are all things that I'm upgrading, like upgrading the guns on the Washington, the Alabama. Where I was at that point of, ooh, I ought to start putting photo etch on, and I went, no, I'm just going to build it, get it painted for now. Maybe someday we'll come back and do photo etch, and maybe we won't. It won't matter because it'll be a nice display ship, and so I should have that one done in a couple weeks, and of course we'll have a show on that. So we're going to be doing a bunch of nautical stuff for a while. Sorry guys, I did say when I put this channel together that buckle up and enjoy the ride, because it's all over the place. I appreciate my hardcore viewers who are loyal and watch no matter what weird stuff I'm doing. I do a lot of cars, I do ships. I don't do hardly anything in the way of aircraft anymore, and that used to be my heavy. Sometimes we'll do some train stuff, sometimes some ship stuff. We'll do some travel stuff. This is a channel where we're just all over the page, you know that. And thank you for those of you loyal viewers who stick with me through all of this craziness. But with that said, I just don't have the mental ability anymore. And I do all this for fun. I'm doing it because I enjoy modeling, and I enjoy passing techniques and what along to other folks. But I'm just not one of those channels that can buckle down and do one thing only. I could, but I'd be miserable and I wouldn't be honest. Honestly, this is what I do. This is my day. This is how every day goes for me. And what I'm working on this week, I may not be working on next week. Just the way interests go. So anyway, I'm going to let you folks go. You've got a busy week ahead. We've got Thanksgiving here in the U.S. And hopefully it's a wonderful time for you folks. I'm hoping, I've got a couple daughters that'll probably be coming over. My one son who is living on the street, he's planning to be here. So it ought to be a wonderful reunion, a wonderful time here at Mad Dog's house for Thanksgiving. I'm not doing anything for Black Friday except for building models. So I'm staying away from all of the crowds. I got pretty much all my shopping done already, so I'm good. So, all right, folks, you have a great week, and we will see you tomorrow for the Mormon Crickets.